What is up, everyone? Chris Roma here, aka Things by Roma. We're doing the July update. It's actually June 28th, but it is a beautiful day to be in the garden, so I'm getting her done today. Just a little documentation for myself for the future that I'm taking you along the ride with me. Over here, for something new, we got rid of the container plants that were over here, and we just planted a couple pumpkins. So we have some blue Jarondale and some red warty things over here, so hopefully we'll see how they do. And then on this side, we have our Savory Perfection cabbage starting to get big, starting to actually see a nice ball, a nice solid head of cabbage here, so happy about that. We have some gorgeous purple flowers starting on our eggplant. So we have some Ping Tong and some Listata de Gandia eggplants, which are my two favorite that I picked throughout the season. Here we have some Brussels sprouts. These are our heirloom Brussels sprouts. I don't know which kind other than heirloom. That's all that said on the seed packet. All this stuff was grown from seeds with the exception of very few things. Here we have one of my favorites. This is a ground cherry. So when they have these little husks that they drop all their fruit, when the fruit is ready, it just kind of falls like this one did here. And then the fruit's inside this little husk. You pull the husk off, which is awesome because it protects it from bugs and the weather, and you end up with this beautiful, delicious, I think it tastes like a kiwi. My wife says it's more of tomatoey. We can't really agree on what it tastes like, but whatever it is delicious, and it's one of the biggest producers in the garden at the moment. All through June, we've really only gotten these and strawberries to harvest so far, and radishes. So this is awesome, seeing that these produce so plentifully so early in the season. And then yeah, the Brussels sprouts is so cool. This is the first year I'm really successful with any brassica. I think it's because I started earlier and they like the cold, but it's cool to see how they come in kind of like the crotches of the plants here. And then potatoes. We were successful with potatoes last year. Didn't really know what I was doing. Just went and bought some seed potatoes that I got from a local farm called Bippert's, and planted them, and they are getting some flowers on them now. So hopefully we have some red ones and some gold ones, so hopefully we'll get some potatoes this year, and that'll be cool. And then behind it, we have, this is some type of broccoli. I believe this is a Romanesco broccoli. And then some more ground cherries here, and then a purple Sicily cauliflower, which is hard to see at the moment, but I'll have some better examples for you as we move. First year with asparagus, planted it, didn't harvest it, let it fern out, so give some energy to the roots. And then I did plant some peas in the back here yesterday, actually, some sugar snap and sugar bond pea. So hopefully they will be sprouting and we'll get some delicious peas. And here's some onions. Again, I got some seed onions from Bippert's while I was there getting the potatoes, and these are the onions, first time growing them, so we'll see how that goes. Planted some squash. We have this is either a Costado Romanesco or a yellowneck. Oh, it's Costado Romanesco, but I also did yellowneck. And here we have a purple graffiti cauliflower. This thing looks beautiful. Definitely a keeper. I'll be growing that every year. Our Roma tomatoes are coming in, not even slightly blushing yet, but they are in a tomato form. We have a butternut squash, very small right here, and then a cup beans. Not sure what kind of bean. I just had a stack of beans that I soaked all together and then just planted them randomly, so it's going to be a surprise on what beans I get where. Here is a huge Savory Perfection cabbage. I mean, this thing is a monster, so I can't wait to see if that actually turns into a monster head of cabbage and it's worth taking up this much space in the garden. But if it does, it is worth it. But there was a square foot of albino beets that are not getting any sun, so I have low hopes for them. And then we have a yellowneck squash here, some big Zack tomato there, which is supposed to be one of the biggest tomatoes. I think it gets like 5 pounds, or potentially could get up to 5 pounds. And then here we have a Romanesco broccoli again, and then sun gold tomato, which are absolutely delicious. I love these sun golds. They're one of my favorite tomatoes. And speaking of tomatoes, we'll go check them out before I forget, because they are over here on strings. going up the deck. Last season they were trellised over in these beds, but I figured I'd save some bed space, plop these guys right into the ground, and save some space and get some more stuff in the beds. So here we have yellow pear tomatoes, and I really like growing tomatoes that are not red, such as these Queen of the Nights. They stay purpley on top. They will get a reddish blush on the bottom, but the fact that the tops stay dark purple, the birds tend to leave them alone. Here, the black strawberries are another perfect example. So these get a little bigger than the Queen of the Night, but the tops stay nice and dark purple like that, and then the bottoms will turn red, but the birds leave them alone because of that other color. And then the same with these Sun Gold tomatoes. They're a gold, and you can see they're pretty much fully ready to eat. These guys are done. They're ready to pull and eat, and not a single mark on them. The birds leave them alone. You don't have to harvest them early. Where I find with the red ones, you got to pick them when they start blushing and let them counter ripen, or the animals will get them. But over here we could go through. We have yellow pear, Queen of the Night. This is another big Zach. Suyo Long cucumbers and China Jade cucumbers. We saw the black strawberry. This is a big pink. Sun Gold mushroom basket. Another yellow pear. And then that's it for the tomatoes. So back over here, keep on cruising. We have a gypsy sweet pepper. So I got to do a little bit more research. A lot of these I'm growing for the first time, so I've never grown this pepper. I'm gonna have to see how big it gets, when to harvest it, but it's getting there. I'm thinking we might be there. And the same thing goes for these Jimmy Nardellos over here. These are also sweet peppers, but I'm unsure how big they get and when to harvest them, so I need to look a little bit more into those. Purple Sicily cauliflower, definitely ready to harvest. It's starting to branch out and separate, so that's when you need to know you pick it. So we want this to be nice and tight. Once it starts to spread out, it's ready, or even beyond ready. So this garlic, speaking of beyond ready, here's a garlic scape that we have 2 left from all of our garlic that we haven't eaten because we kind of loved them so much we were saving them. But I think I saved them too long because this scape is getting pretty much into a flower now. So I got to get out here basically tonight and cut this, and we'll eat this with some of this broccoli so we'll have some good sides and some good meals and good eating. Over here we have some carrots in the corner pieces here. Another Romanesco broccoli, not really coming in yet. Some more squash. Over here we have some beets. Those are some Chigaro beets, so they have like a circular pattern of red and white, and then some sunflowers. Purple sunflowers going here. We have some more sunflowers over here. A couple different varieties of sunflowers just thrown in here. Early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. That's nice and solid. We're gonna be ready to eat that soon too. This is one of the conical shaped cabbages, and yeah, it's nice and solid. We could eat that too. So lots of food getting ready to eat. Here's another Brussels sprout. This one is a Catskill Brussels sprout, so it looks like it's staying a little shorter over here. I don't know if that's because this purple Sicily cauliflower here is blocking all of its sun, or if it's just a smaller variety. Over here, another big pink tomatoes. Big pink, and the raspberries. So raspberries, the beginning of July, just starting to turn red. Nothing to eat yet. I tried one the other day that looked like it was ready, but it was not. Oh, there's one that might be ready actually, as I just said it, and it fell off very easily into my hand. So actually, raspberries are ready. 2/28. First ripe raspberry, and it was delicious, so definitely awesome. Look at this cabbage. Same thing as the other one, a conical Early Jersey Wakefield. This one's probably twice its size. Definitely ready to eat. So we're going to be having a lot of cabbage in the next coming week or two. And then here we have another purple Sicily cauliflower. This one's a little smaller, already starting to spread. Noticing that about the purple Sicily, it starts to spread early, so I'm probably not going to grow that one again. I'm really digging this one, the purple graffiti. Way more purple. It seems to get bigger before it starts to spread out, so Definitely going to stick. Unfortunately, the seeds are definitely a lot more expensive than the Purple Sicily seeds, but to me, I think it's worth it. You're getting a lot more for what you're paying for. And then over here, we got some strawberries. Unfortunately, Critter got to that. Sorry about that. Yeah, Critter got to this one before we did, unfortunately, but that seems to be this case with a lot of them. But we have, that's why we planted so many, as you'll see, that it's just hard to even pick them all. Here's another Gypsy Sweet Pepper that's looking good, and another Jimmy Nardello pepper in here. And I did space everything out. For example, like the brassicas, they say one of the biggest pests to the brassica has to land, I forget what it's called, but it has to land on the brassica 8 times before it lays its eggs. So it jumps around. So if you have a whole garden bed full of brassicas, it's going to land on a brassica 8 times in a row easy and land its eggs. Whereas if you have a brassica here, a brassica over there, brassica over there, even if it lands on a different plant once and has 8 jumps, it has to start over again. So it's really good to space out your brassicas all over your garden and everything. You really don't want to have a monoculture in any one area. It's better just to space out everything. And that's why you'll notice I got cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, peppers. They're all not in one area. They're all spaced all over the place. And I do follow square foot gardening, so I try to put everything into as much as I can pack into a little bit of space, but still leave room for air and growth. Here's some more carrots. We have another cabbage here. Not sure which one that is. And then here we have a Zulu pepper. It's basically pretty much black. It's so dark it's black. That's a bell pepper. Another early Jersey Wakefield cabbage there. And our garlic. Here's some more garlic. Here's the other scape that we left. So we have 2 garlic scapes that we can cut up, and I just like sauteing them and using them and eating them as it just sauteed because they're so good. Yeah, some more Brussels sprouts growing in here. They're just starting to peek their heads out. And then a little more carrots, another beautiful flower from our eggplants. Then we have our Listata de Ganda and our ping tongue eggplants. And behind me here we have our melons. So here we have a Jajari melon, which is an Indian melon. It looks super cool and it's supposed to taste delicious. I've never had them before, but yeah, so good. So, and then down here we have the sweet passion melon, which I grew last year, and it was delicious. It's more of a cantaloupe style. And down here we have some mulberries that the birds must have picked off of the mulberry tree, which is producing a lot of fruit. So the branches are just covered with fruit this year. I've never gotten fruit off of this yet before because the birds always get to it all, but this season I've never even seen what the berry looked like. So it's definitely getting a lot farther along than it ever has before. So I have some hope for these at least. Once we step out, we have some trees. A lot of the critters killed our trees over the winter. So basically, like how this tree is short, this is a black Tatarian tree. But they basically, I had plastic protectors up about a foot, but right above where the protector was, they would just screw. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on with that car horn, but yeah, they would just chew right above the plastic, and they killed all the trees from about a foot up for all those. So some I got replacements for, some I just moved. So here we have a black Tartarian tree and our Bing cherry tree that got moved over here and put in the same hole. So we'll see how they do. I hope that does good. They can pollinate each other, live happily here together right next to the mulberry tree. And over here we have some marigolds and some beans, some party time Alternathea, which is one of my favorite house plants. So I brought it out here into a kind of a shady area to see how it does, and put it next to these Persian shields, which I fell in love with last year. They have this gorgeous purpley black color, just stunning. And we also have some more ground cherries, New Hanover and Aunt Molly ground cherries over here, as well as a mix of pole beans. So the other garden we had some bush beans. This garden we have pole beans that I'm trying to train up this trellis. And again, you soak the bean seeds for 24 hours or overnight before you plant them. And I just had 4 or 5 different varieties of beans that I threw together in a bowl to soak. So we'll see what we get. But most of them have these beautiful pink red flowers. So hopefully we get a bunch of those, and they look beautiful as they're growing. Here we have our nectarine tree that just went in this year. This is where the peach tree was last year, but they actually completely killed the peach tree. So that is gone. Golden Delicious apple tree. They killed the one I put in last season, so I got a new replacement from Stark Brothers. They were really great about replacements within 1 year. And then here, I planted it over here because here we have a Liberty apple that, again, the critters got to and killed it from that high up. But still alive. Nothing's growing from the root. It's all growing from above the grafting point. So this is a dwarf Liberty apple tree. Like, these are suckers right here coming from the root stock. We want to rip those off because the fruit that those would produce would be the root stock fruit, not from the Liberty apple that was grafted onto this root stock. So definitely rip off any of those suckers. Don't let them grow. Over here we have some pretty flowers that we're just waiting for them to come back in. We have some purple Prince zinnia tucked all along the back there. Here we have I believe this is a butterfly bush that it's growing back in from last year. We have some Texas hummingbird mint that I grew from seed. Threw a bunch of seeds for like some blue buttons and some bunch of zinnia, cosmos, a whole bunch of seed we threw down here. So we're just gonna, I don't know what is weed and what is seedling, so that's why this kind of patch looks weird, because I'm not sure what I need to leave and what I need to pick. So I'm just letting it all go and waiting for pretty stuff to pop up. And speaking of pretty stuff, this is a pink hummingbird plant, and it's gorgeous. And Texas hummingbird mint. This might be a butterfly bush, I'm not sure with my flowers, but either way it's very pretty. We have our it's our Freedom Thornless Primacane Blackberry. So we get blackberries on the first year, which is super cool. Over here we have a bunch of peas coming in against this fence here. I forgot I even planted those peas, so I'm super happy to see that. A lot more peas because they are so tasty. We eat them as soon as they are edible. And we have a bunch of blueberries coming in, a bunch of strawberries. So we just went through and harvested so many of these strawberries. It was crazy. We didn't even know. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix the, looks like the blackberry is falling over. It's getting so big it's falling over. I'm gonna have to stake this blackberry up. I didn't know you had to do that, but I will be staking up a blackberry after this video. And then yeah, we have so many strawberries. We have Tupperware containers. I'm learning how to make jam, and I just bought a pressure canner. So basically, just because we have so many strawberries, we don't know what to do with. First year we're getting these grapevines. They're kind of getting out of control. Probably not even nearly as out of control as they're gonna get, but we have some grapes. This is maybe our first year we'll get grapes too, which will be super cool if we actually get grapes. I'm gonna be so excited if that happens. But yeah, lots of strawberries so far. Definitely our biggest producer, but June is the month of the strawberry, so that makes sense. Our blueberries are actually just starting to turn blue, so maybe we'll get a couple blueberries. Yeah, tons. It looks like a lot of this is a silver dollar blueberry, so hopefully we're gonna get a lot of blueberries. So as you can see, like our strawberries, there's just so many, and literally this whole patch from like here down, like we have been harvesting these strawberries for hours and hours, and there's just so many that we just can't even get to them all. Oh, I dropped it. We can't even get to them all, but they're just all so delicious. Oh man, the Ozark Beauty are probably my favorite. So sweet, oh my god. But yeah, these strawberries are just, they're everywhere. So many. I planted so many because the bugs and everyone loves these. The animals love these. So you gotta plant enough for them and for us, or else we don't end up getting any. And then up behind me, this is a new peach tree that we put in this year because the old peach tree got killed. We had a Red Haven peach tree that the animals killed, but here we put in a Ruston bed. So I know that Red Haven peach was delicious. I'm hoping this other one will be too. And then over here we have a plum tree. This is our Methley plum. Forgot to show you, but this is also a new one that we just put in this year. Well, cruising back to where we were, we got some more grapes. which is awesome to see. There are a bunch of all different varieties of seedless edible grapes, so super happy about this. Marigolds are so pretty. We're gonna put so many in next year. Definitely gonna grow a lot more next year. Here's a purple clematis that I thought was dead, did not come back last year, but then this year decided it wanted to live. And then here we have some beautiful, our lavender. The azalea already dropped its flowers for this year, but the gay feather is just starting to grow the blooms. So hopefully the gay feather will have some flowers soon. And over here is where we had our peas, but I think they're getting a little bit too much sun over here now. So the peas and spinach were here, but too hot for them over here now. So spinach might be done for outdoors for the season, and the peas got moved to other areas. And then over here, I actually planted a bunch of seeds in the ground for, here we have basil and dill, but that's not enough. So I ended up putting a whole bunch of seeds for basil and dill in the ground over here. So hopefully we'll see them popping up soon. And then here we have kale. This is where I was growing the radishes, but too hot for the radishes. The cool weather's over, so the radishes don't like this warmth. So we got some kale in here, and I'm gonna figure out what else to put in there. Maybe just some flowers. Going this way. Pineapple, it's lived indoors all winter, so I bet it's super happy to be outdoors getting some sun finally. 2 trays of cosmos that I planted from seed that are going to get planted, and then there's some zinnia, some gladiolus in the pot there. Under here we have our blue oyster mushroom bed, so we got some straw, and I spread some there's wood chips under the straw, and then I spread some blue oyster mycelium under there. So hopefully we'll get some mushrooms maybe in the fall or next spring. And then we got some zinnia. This is the bed where I'm going to put all of those seedlings I just showed you. So the cosmos and zinnia will all be in here, and then foxgloves for next year. And then you can see we already threw some seeds for some cosmos that are popping up over here now. And then we have some more zinnia, a whole bunch of stuff over here, some phlox and that. Some more stuff over here. We have some blackberries, so hopefully we're gonna get some fruit on these. This is a blackberry bush, it's a polka dot plant. As you can see, the foxgloves, most of the flowers have dropped. They're all on the ground now. They were beautiful and gorgeous if you watched last month's video, but they didn't make it too far into the season. There's still some beautiful, gorgeous flowers just hanging on at the very tips, but the whole things were covered with them, and they were beautiful. Here we have a new cherry tree that went in this year, and this is a very special cherry tree because there's 5 different kinds of cherries grafted onto one tree here, so it's pretty cool to see. We have a Hudson cherry, a Rainier cherry, Lapin cherry, what's this one, the Montmorency cherry, and then we have like a 518 cherry all on one tree here, so that's super cool to see. And then here here's the trampoline, putting it to use as a trellis. It's already there, why not use it? So we're growing tomatoes up the strings here along the trampoline. So a couple more varieties of the same tomatoes that I kind of showed you earlier. And then we got the flowers. We have the marigolds and some coleus in here. The coleus are going to get much bigger. Those are the max size of the marigolds. And then I'm going to plant some more maybe some cosmos. We'll see what else is going to go in here. I'm going to experiment. I got a bunch more flower seed packs that I'm going to throw in here, but these marigolds are really gorgeous. They're really loving it. Oh, I brought a ring of fire philodendron out here just to see how it would do. It's normally a house plant, so I put it back where it gets shade. It's never in direct sun ever, but hopefully the ring of fire philodendron will be out here and grow and look awesome. And then there's some lambs here, some tiger lilies. We have a Chijiro pear tree, so it's an Asian pear. It looks more like a plum, but they're supposed to be delicious. I can't wait to try the fruit for that. And the same thing with these currants. I have a red currant and a golden currant over here, and I've never had their fruit. I got these bushes for free on Facebook Marketplace and planted them last year, so I can't wait to try if we get any fruit off of them or not. And then here, 2 trees that the animals got to cut them off there, so they're gonna end up at my mom's house. And then we are back to where we started. Another new addition to the garden this year are mushroom logs. So we have some shiitake, some blue oyster, some chestnut, and there's some small golden oyster branches, quote logs, if you will, that I'm going to wait till they just start fruiting and then bring inside into the humidity tent, because those can be invasive in North America. People still grow them, but I'd prefer to keep them indoors at that point if I can. But yeah, these logs you basically just inoculate. We have some wooden dowels that you drill holes, put in there, cover them with wax, and then the mushroom takes over the wood. So here we have lion's mane, blue oyster, chestnut, so a bunch of different kinds of logs back here that hopefully next year we will be harvesting mushrooms from those. Also here in the asparagus bed where I planted the peas, I mean the mushrooms are spreading everywhere, but you can see mycelium for where I put them. We'll just grab a handful and show you underneath here. You can see all that white, that's all mushroom mycelium from wine cap mushroom. So that is going to spread everywhere, and actually I did kind of just put it places everywhere in the garden. So let's go just check out this spot over here. I know I put some over here a while ago. Let's see how that's doing. Oh yeah, see, it's spreading over here too. So yeah, I put this pretty much all over the place. We could probably go check over here too, this bed. See how this bed's doing with the mycelium. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, hopefully next either in the fall or the spring will be wine cap mushroom time. So speaking of more mushrooms, this is my indoor Martha tent for growing mushrooms. It has a humidifier that keeps it humid, and a fresh air exhaust fan that exhausts the carbon dioxide and keeps it oxygenated. Here's some pink oysters. This is the second flush from this bucket, so super happy about that. Pink oysters have been the one that I've been getting the most of, but also the first one I did, so that makes sense. This is my first ever flush of blue oyster, so that just started pinning yesterday actually. So this is only the second day already growing. These guys are only 3 days old. They'll probably harvest in a day or two, but they grow so fast. We also have another pink oyster bag here, a pearl bag here, and a 5-gallon bucket of pink oysters, and then a small block of pearl down here, another 2-gallon bucket of pinks. So can't wait. I love mushrooms. This is one of my new favorite things to grow. So if you're into gardening and you didn't grow mushrooms yet, you should. All right, Things by Roma out.